This is MusicalTalk, the UK's independent and longest-running musical theatre podcast.
Hello, welcome to Musical Talk. My name is Nick Cutson. I hope you're well. I'm sitting here with Robert. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. You have been to see a musical that we talked about when it opened on the podcast, Paddington. And would you say it's the most it's the hottest ticket in town, as the phrase goes?
Yes, I mean, you absolutely cannot get in until 2027, as far as I know. It is the hottest ticket in town. It was completely full. The audience loved it. They went wild. Hottest ticket in town.
And obviously based on the films of Paddington, very much influenced by that. And I saw it in December, so my memory of it is a bit vague. The time of recording, you saw it less than sort of 24 hours ago. You saw it last night. What were your expectations going in, and what were your thoughts during and leaving?
Yes, well, I actually saw it on Wednesday, so 2 nights ago. I thought it was going to be the next Matilda, and it's not quite that. It's not as witty, it's not as sharp, it's not as stylish. I think it's great fun, but in its terms of its production values, it's much more vulgar, it's much more straightforward. It's really trading on the fact that of the films, of the 3 Paddington films, and I believe there's to be a 4th. So yes, it's fun, but it isn't genre defining as a family musical.
Do you think they wanted it to be, or were they just trying to be as kind of faithful as they could be? Because I went in, I saw it during the previews, so I obviously knew very little about it. No songs. Well, I think 2 songs were released at the time. The big thing was the bear and how they do the bear, and it's the kind of animatronic head and the person inside the bear suit and the person off stage voicing the bear, which I think did work very well. And you got to think of the complexities of the 2 performers having to work off each other in rehearsals and things to try and really work out, if I'm moving my hand at this speed, will that affect the voice and all that? Did that draw? Were you entranced by the bear as so many were, or did you just think, well, that's a puppet and didn't really notice it? How did that work for you?
I noticed it, but I think I know you can do that sort of thing nowadays. And so technically it was very efficient and very well done. But I think really the popularity of the show is not dependent on the brilliance of its execution, but on the films, on Paddington, on people's love for Paddington and of the films.
And people's, as we said before, they're willing to forgive the flaws because it's such a well-loved brand, and it's about kindness and it's about acceptance and things. So
I think most people don't notice the flaws because they're not looking for them. They're not theatre specialists. They've come for a one-off evening. And I think on that level, it is always startling. There are some wonderful bits of spectacle. There is some interesting, exciting plotting. I think it's not that well structured because I think there are too many songs. I think the songs are not always absolutely necessary, or the songs don't go anywhere once they've
made the point.
Yes. I think the performances are great. I particularly liked Tom Eden as Mr. Curry. Very, very brilliant, funny performance. Yes. But I think all the performers are great. I didn't see Bonnie Langford as Mrs. Bird, but the alternate was superb. And so they all work very well. And yes, the Paddington Bear himself worked brilliantly. And I think it's amazing the way they do it. But when you watch it, when you watch the film, you're just watching Paddington Bear, you know.
It kind of works really well when he puts a duffel coat on and he becomes that full. It reminded me of the bit in Wicked where she finally puts the top hat, the witch's hat and the cloak on.
Yes.
Just before defying gravity, and there's this kind of beautiful reveal. It's obviously a lot more touching in the Paddington musical. It veers a bit too over sentimental for me, I think.
Yes, it's a bit preachy.
A bit. The fact that Paddington stands up on a box at the end and hammers the message of the show into us at the end, I thought was a bit unnecessary. Yes, it is all about immigrants coming to London and being accepted even though they have a weird addiction. Is that necessary for him to actually stand up and say that?
Well, it's not necessary, but they made that part of the theme of the show, of this particular musical version.
I know the Bond family are very, very proud of it, which I'm sure they are for many reasons. And there are now rumours it's going to go to Broadway. Now, Matilda, you mentioned, is still playing here in London 15, 16 years on, but it didn't last 10 minutes on Broadway, did it? How do you think Paddington, an even more British musical, I mean, there's a whole song about London in it, would work over there?
I think it'll only last about 5 minutes. I think that it's very British and it's a very British story, and the films were largely seen by British audiences. I don't think they were very, popular in the States, not particularly. So I think partly there's quite an anti-British feeling on Broadway, that a children's musical from Britain, it's not received with the same joy as this one was by the critics and the public alike. So I don't think it'll last long in New York. I don't think children's musicals, apart from Disney, have a huge lifespan on Broadway. I mean, Aladdin, which the stage version, which I hate. I think it's in such bad taste visually, though I love the songs. That's still running, but there's no other children's musicals are running.
And it's interesting, Hercules here is a flop. I saw now they're doing 2-for-1 tickets, which I've never seen a Disney show do before. And yet, if it were playing on Broadway, it would probably be a bigger hit. The Disney family shows seem to do a lot better on Broadway than they do here. And Disney keep trying to, yes, we'll put this one in. Oh, that's not working. We'll put this one in. We'll try this one in. Greatest Showman is playing in Bristol, even though it's not a Disney animated feature. It's of the Disney canon now. Another Casey Nicholaw production who did Aladdin and Hercules, and I think who is Broadway's most bland director ever to exist. And apparently this show matches up to that description as well. It lacks heart or something.
Which show you're talking about?
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman. Yes, I don't know The Greatest Showman well apart from the film. But yes, I would say even the film lacked heart. It was very spectacular and had a great performance by Hugh Jackman. But yes, it lacked heart. I don't know what the stage version is like that's down in Bristol. Is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think they've got an idea of bringing it to...
Oh, yeah, it's going to go to the Theatre or Drury Lane once Hercules lived to a sad end, but they should have just kept Frozen in.
Yes, absolutely. That was really fun and well done.
But that's Grandage, isn't it?
Yes, and very well directed and very well designed. I think that the Greatest Showman will score initially because of the film. I mean, the film was so popular, and I think it's bound to sell to an audience because of the film. Whether or not it then lasts, I don't know.
And people are curious as well to see how a film from 10 years ago moves to the stage, especially with lots of circus involved. And I think it does deliver on that aspect. I just think it leaves one feeling a bit like you've eaten too much sugar. And then you just feel like, oh, okay, I'm really tired now. I need to have a sleep. Maybe that's just my life in general, but I don't know.
Ironically, Hercules has got a much better score than the Greatest Showman. So I don't know what you'd say, but I mean, they haven't actually been able to turn it into a successful stage musical in spite of the score.
I think the flaw with Hercules is the direction. I mean, they made some very strange choices. There's no full-size puppets. They cut Pain and Panic from the thing, and people were very upset about that. And it just doesn't deliver as much as it should. But how would you feel about Paddington if you were 6?
I think I'd love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a number of children quite around me, near me, and they were absolutely spellbound. So I think, yes, it works as a family show. Bring the kids. Of course, it's terribly expensive to bring the kids.
Or anyone.
Or anyone. But it's a great kids show.
Yeah. I want to end this short discussion with a thing we just watched, and it was a parody documentary about a musical called Co-op, and it just popped up on my Instagram reels a couple of days ago, and I was reminded of it. And I said to her, I want to show you something. I didn't tell you what it was, and you loved it, didn't you?
Yes, I thought it was it's a wonderful burlesque of the famous recording of Company in 1970, where Elaine Stritch has to wait the whole day until late at night, I mean, maybe beyond midnight, to do her famous number, Here's to the Ladies Who Lunch. And there's a parody of that. And it's actually very clever and very funny. And I think a lot of the orchestrations and the vamps actually that start the songs are ripped off from Company, and some of the songs are sort of teasingly allude to Company.
Another Sondheim as well. We had Into the Woods. We had
Merrily
We Roll Along. A tiny Sweeney Todd in there as well, I noticed.
Yes, but it's mainly from Company, and I think that the lyrics are meant to echo Company at times. The cast are wonderful. Richard Kind and the woman, I'm not sure who she is, the woman who plays Elaine Stritch, yes, as it were.
Even so that she's in her sailor outfit, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes. I loved it. I haven't seen it for a long time, so it was nice to sit down and watch it. But it was so perfectly done. It's on YouTube as well if you want to just look up for Co-op.
Well, right from the very beginning, when you have Helen Mirren as the presenter, and I said to you, was that really Helen Mirren? And it really was Helen Mirren.
Announced in a 50-second series of this documentary series.
Absolutely. It's a very clever red herring.
And it's also very clever in the fact that it is the guy playing the Sondheim sprouts all this nonsense about you're all leading into the rhymes and I all hate you. I hope you're having a lovely day, and kind of storms off. And you've got Lapine gets a reference as well, but it's so knowing and it's so clever.
It's a show for insiders.
Yes, and it reminded me of. Did you ever see the musical of musicals, The Musical?
Yes.
It reminded me very heavily of that, where you had.
Yes, it's not so obvious in a way because it's coming from sideways. It takes something which is actually
Sideways by Sondheim.
Yeah, but it takes something that's actually very minimally known in general public terms, but insiders all know it because this was the famous video recording of the cast recording of Company.
And it mentions Merrily when they say, if you haven't read the news this morning, your show is now closed.
Yes.
And they had to carry on because with Merrily, they did the cast album after the show had closed, didn't they?
And of course, Company wasn't a flop. So
no. But well worth a watch if you can find it. Anything else you want to add that you're seeing, Robert, or that you have seen?
Nothing. I'm very frustrated not to be able to see the touring version. I might, in fact, try to go to Bristol. The touring version of The Kiss of the Spider Woman, which I believe is wonderful. And they won't bring it into London for a peculiar reason that the license holders won't allow it to be done in London. I don't know why. But I mean, that's well worth
Isn't there a film of it now?
Terrible film. Saw the film.
Why is it terrible?
Well,
they cut the best song, which is The Day After That, didn't they?
Yes, they've cut all the political songs. And it's the adaptation that's bad. Bill Condon tries to do what he did as screenplay writer for Chicago, but he doesn't know how to do it with Kiss of the Spider Woman. It's not the same kind of show.
It sounds like Cabaret as well, where they got rid of all the external
yes,
songs.
But in Cabaret, that worked brilliantly.
Yeah.
In this, you lose the heart of the show. You lose the political dimension of the show. And it's visually very poor.
That's a shame, because it's kind of, it is the forgotten Camden Ebb musical in a way that isn't as obscure as 70 Girls 70 or anything like that. It's the kind of, it's the Martin Gare of the Cabaret in Chicago, and then there's Kiss the Spider Woman, isn't it? Obviously, I'm not lowering it to something as vulgar as Martin Gare.
No. But I think the trouble is also that it's not visually sharp enough. I mean, J-Lo can do it in terms of the songs, but she's not a great actress. So she's not sinister enough as the Spider Woman. The man who plays Molina, the gay character, is very, very good and very attractive, and that will, to some extent, that was probably part of the casting. But he's cast against a man who doesn't look particularly macho as the political revolutionary. And so it doesn't quite make sense, really, because, this guy is supposed to be very, very homophobic and doesn't come across that way.
So not one to watch then.
I wouldn't rush to see it, and I don't think anybody has.
I remember years ago, it was announced that Kiss the Spy Woman was going to the Donmar warehouse. So I got very excited and booked to see that. Turns out it was the play.
Oh, yes, that's right. And it's been at the Miniature Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. And I'm seeing Beetlejuice in a few weeks, which I'm looking forward to.
Well, I have no expectations of Beetlejuice because I've never seen the film.
What? You have to watch the film, Robert. It's a classic. Anything else? Now you've seen Richard Kind in this mock documentary. Would you like to see him in The Producers? Is that something that interests for the short span he's in it?
I don't think The Producers has got, in my view, a great afterlife. I've seen the production when it was done at the Miniature Chocolate Factory. I saw the original, which I loved. I saw it twice, both in London and on Broadway.
What was it like on Broadway compared to London? Were the audiences a lot more raucous?
No, I think it was just as good in London. And in fact, perhaps in some ways better, because the secondary character, and I've forgotten his name.
Leo Bloom.
Yeah. Leo Bloom was perhaps even better in London.
But what was the audience reaction like compared in New York compared to Broadway?
When I saw it, which was near the beginning in London, of the run in London, just the same, I'd say. Yeah.
Did you see it with Nathan Lane?
Yes, both times.
Playing straight, always funny.
Well, yes. Straight as Nathan Lane can be.
And it's not much. I'm looking forward to the High School Musical that's just been announced, that's coming to London. We talked about that in a prior episode of Musical Talk, where I was I've essentially sat down and watched all the High School Musical films, and they're okay. And I want to end this conversation. I saw I reviewed it as well on the show Avenue Q.
Oh, it's always a show I like.
Yes, and I've had a more of a chance to think about it, and I'm thinking it's 20 years on, which is scary to think. And is the show now for new audiences, or is it now a nostalgia piece where it's the people that saw it 20 years ago and want to see it again because it's not selling?
Well, I'm surprised. I think it is a show. It could be a show for new audiences. Perhaps they haven't marketed it in the right way. But I think if it was billed as a new show to younger generation audiences, there's no reason why they shouldn't really love it.
The problem is it's at the Shaftesbury Theatre.
Ah, well, that's always a problem.
Where shows go to die.
That's actually where Kiss of the Spider Woman started. After Canada, no, it didn't.
No.
After Canada, it came straight to London for 6 months with Cheetah Rivera, the original cast, and then went to Broadway and then ran 900 performances.
Well, Well, Robert, thank you for chatting to us.
Thank you.
If you see anything, let us know, because we'd love to have we always enjoy having your thoughts on the show. And all the best and take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This episode of Musical Talk, copyright 2026, apart from the songs where the copyright persists with the original creators. For more information on Musical Talk, please visit our website at musicaltalk.co.uk or follow us on X, Instagram and YouTube.